damn, since we're on video, I don't want to look like a dork anymore. let me sit back and look normal, more Riko style. Yeah, so just go about it as like you said, like you've been monitoring my gram and asked me questions.
Yeah.
And I'll share with you.
Awesome.
Because actually I haven't talked about it yet to anybody.
Awesome. This will be, that's a very good opening. This is the Autohaus podcast, and we have a very exciting guest today. I see you over there in the signature Riko Gold in the RWB. Is that a brand new jacket?
Yeah, and this is I got this jacket about 3 years ago at the Auto Salon. So, yeah, it's something special.
Awesome. So, you just came back from a pretty interesting trip. Let's talk about where'd you go? Where'd you come back from?
Well, I just got back from I'm Riko, from Riko's Way. I just got back from Japan, and I just went for the annual RWB gathering. We have our New Year's party, and also I went for the annual Toyko Auto Salon. And even my own family or even my wife asked me, why do I go every year? Right now, I go to Japan. This is probably my 7th trip within 3 years, I would say. What's the point of me going? I operate a business here in the Bay Area. I don't operate any business in Japan. I have no money connections with Japan. It's not a business trip. It's purely leisure. And I get the question asked, why do I go? And it's really just all about RWB. I want to go back to see Nakai-san. Japan is a big country. People often think of Japan like the size of LA or San Francisco. All you think about is Tokyo, but Japan is actually quite large. And there's probably over 100 RWB members in Japan, and they all don't see each other all the time. So the New Year's party is a time where people will drive in 11 hours. They will drive in 8 hours. They will fly in. And so this is the only time they will see each other during the year. The other time they might see each other is during the annual Idlers race in late July. But still, the most people that turn up is at the New Year's party. So it is an opportunity for me to meet these people. Also, like myself, I'm from international. We also have international members that will fly in. So it is a really big homecoming for us. And for me not to be there, I could not go. I mean, they're not going to say, okay, Riko, you're out of the club. You can't come. We're removing your key card. Your membership card is discontinued. That ain't going to happen. But there is a joy of being there in person and hugging my brothers and wishing everybody a Happy New Year. So I can't miss it. I really can't. I really can't miss the event.
So during your last trip, you also went to Toyko Auto Salon. But from what I understand, that Toyko Auto Salon was not the only reason for your trip.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, the main reason why I wanted to go to Toyko Auto Salon this year is really it's on the heels of SEMA. At SEMA this year, I built the GOLD 86, the N3 style, and it was on the Toyo Tread Pass. And the whole idea, going back before SEMA even happened, I had the idea that I wanted the car to be displayed at Toyko Auto Salon. That's a dream of mine. That was kind of like the double header idea I had, that do SEMA and then do Toyko Auto Salon, come back with it and just blow it up. But it turned out that it was a little bit too late to request a spot. And also I just didn't have strong enough connections. Even though I did have strong ones more than most, but not enough. So the whole point of going to SEMA this year was not really for me just to look at cars or check things out and see friends, but I wanted to pretty much do business on behalf of Riko, on behalf of Riko's Way, Riko Style, saying, hey guys, this is who I am. To prepare for Toyko Auto Salon, I made hero cards. I made new business cards. I made stickers. I tried to go as prepared as I could with a minimal investment, of course. And I spent the whole day at Toyko Auto Salon just going booth to booth, introducing myself. I don't speak Japanese.
Yeah.
But I speak enough. I'm very, I give respect. Try to be as humble as possible when I'm ever in Japan. And just go with it. I mean, people recognize passion. People acknowledge car passion. It's universal. And that's the beauty. I mean, Toyko Auto Salon is not 100% full of Japanese attendees. I would say maybe 90%. But that 10% is international. And they know it and we know it. And so they welcome it. So, they really thought it was awesome and cool that I have this idea of wanting to bring my car to Tokyo for the following year. So that was my goal. So the whole day, that's all I was doing. I was just going booth to booth, trying to make connections, getting business cards, exchanging names, and just working it, just really working the event. That was the main reason for me going to Toyko Auto Salon this year.
But you told me earlier you were only able to make it for one day of the show.
Yeah, I really misjudged. I've been to Toyko Auto Salon for 3 years now. This is my third year. I really misjudged the size of it. I mean, I'll share Toyko Auto Salon stories, and don't hate me for it. But my first time going to Toyko Auto Salon, and I'm really not. To be honest, I'm really not a big car show guy. I'm really not. I'm
Interesting.
More,
okay.
I'm really not into it. I mean, we see everything online. I've seen almost everything. I mean, I look at cars from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. I'm more into the, night scene, driving around, car meetings, getting together, seeing the cars, hearing them start, watching them drive away. That's more of my real scene. But as I've gotten more involved into the scene, I've gone to appreciate these large events like SEMA and Toyko Auto Salon. But the very first time I went to Toyko Auto Salon, which was on my first trip to Japan, maybe in 2018, I was chilling with Nakai-san. I was at RWB. It was Sunday afternoon. And he says, "Hey, let's go pick up the car at Toyko Auto Salon. You want to come?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What do I have to do?" So we hopped in the van. I hopped in the Dodge van. And, people don't know that anything American in most parts of Japan is very cool. And he has 2 Dodge vans with open headers, with the shifter on the tree. And we're just jamming through Kashiwa and Chiba, just wah, bah. And it's just hilarious, chicaning and togeing through these little narrow streets. And so we get to Auto Salon. It's about a half an hour left of the show, and that's my first Toyko Auto Salon experience. And pretty much all we did is that we mobbed into the show. Of course, Nakai-san's walking through, so the gates just open, and we just walk right in, And we beeline straight for the Deep Lifestyles booth. And what he had on display was Stella number 2, which is called Boost. So it's his second primered black. It's a 964, but it's a turbo. And that's why we call it Boost. So we're there, he's taking pictures, he's doing his usual thing. I take some pictures as well. I'm kind of like trying to grasp. I don't even get to grasp anything. Pretty much what they tell me to do is stay nearby us, otherwise you're going to get lost. So I kind of wandered down just a little bit, peeked at Liberty Walk booth, and then ran back to RWB. And before I knew it, he's like, "All right, let's go." So I threw my bag in the trunk, and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to bomb down to Tokyo now, to Roppongi Hills to have dinner." So, and actually I had shown up in a van with a bunch of people, and I got to go with him in the car. So he hopped in the RWB, I hopped in it. They pushed us out of the show, and we relieved the show, and he fired it up, and I told peace to everybody else who came with us in the van. And that was my first Toyko Auto Salon experience of actually getting into a Toyko Auto Salon car and driving out in an RWB with Nakai-san. And we drove on the Wangan, we drove on the Rainbow Bridge, and we drove into Tokyo, and that was my first experience, right? So what better than that? And I mean, that I know I could talk about that and write about that. And then my second time, I did actually do a full day, which is more touristy, right? I just walked around, looked at the cars, but getting more to being more mature and being more where I am now in my life. I have much more appreciation for Toyko Auto Salon and SEMA. It is really a coming together of the industry. It is a time of year where everybody gets to see each other, make new connections, get to see all your old friends. So it really is a homecoming for them. And if you come every year, it's a homecoming for you as well. So, and that was a misjudgment on my part this year going to Auto Salon that I only went for one day. I should have went for 3 days. I should have been there for 3 days so I could have met everybody. People were more than happy to speak with me. People were more willing to hear what I had to say. So yeah, so next year I hopefully hope to have my car in the show. If not, I really hope I do. But if not, I'll definitely be there for all 3 days to see all my friends and meet all the new companies and take the benefit of it.
Yeah,
so.
we were really hoping, we were really rooting for you to make it in this year too, because that again, like that back-to-back review.
Yeah, I it's not being cocky, it's not having an ego, it's just having pride in the work that we put out. I still feel, even after going this year and reviewing all the Hachirokus that were there, or even reviewing all the cars that were there, I think the car that we built would do well.
Yeah,
I think it would be presented well. I think it would get a good response. I still don't see anybody doing anything like what we did in my style and that Riko style. So I think even if we do come next year, it'll be okay. Because the 86 is a timeless car.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
The timeless car.
Can you talk about the Corollas that were at TAS this year? Because you saw all of them in person, right?
Yeah, I did see a few. The one that, Toyota put out, Toyota had a few of the classic car builders that have built Toyota Corollas for Tsuchiya. They had them produce 2 11s, pretty much spec race cars / street. They had them produce 2 at the Toyota booth. This was really cool. But Pandem, Rocket Bunny, they displayed their new kit, new Hachiroku that was on display. But the one that really stole the show that everybody was talking about was the Tech Arts. Tech Arts was in display in the KW booth, and KW was also displaying the new suspension for the 86, which also was a new shocker as well. Because, I have been to the Auto Salon for the past 3 years. It's really rare to see 86s. You may say 1 or 2 at the most at the Auto Salon. And even the Japanese companies tell me when I called, Tokyo Auto Salon is not for old chassis. It's mainly pushed towards new bodies. Remember, keep in mind, just like SEMA and Tokyo Auto Salon, it's a commercial. I go to it, or you may go to it, and YouTubers may go to it, and it's like this cool car show indoor thing, but it's actually a business convention. It's for manufacturers, suppliers, buyers to meet and get together and make a business connection. So they really don't want guys there selling Hachiroku parts, because how many customers can I sell that to? Can I put Hachiroku headers in all my O'Reilly stores? Can I put Hachiroku steering rings in all my AutoZone stores? No. I got customers buying Lexuses and Toyotas and Camrys and Ford Rangers. That's what's selling right now. So logically, from the business sense, that's why you don't see old cars. But this year, there was more than before. Definitely. So I want to put that out there, as that's the reason why you don't see it. But going back to Tech Arts, the Tech Arts was on an elevated display, and they had that badass rear diffuser set up with the half bumper cut with the carbon fiber. And also, it was so cool on the front, which would everybody who does track here in the U.S. they had the front splitter was made out of plywood.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, total plywood splitters is the total, grassroots, beginners, track enthusiasts. I built my first splitter out of plywood, paint it. Some don't paint it. It's how everybody starts at the track. And I caught that detail right away when I was examining the car. They use plywood splitter for the front of the car.
Wow.
And I thought that was so cool. It's so dope. I thought it was dope. I thought it was cool that, what works. And yeah, I mean, the car looks sick as hell. And everybody appreciated it as well. And and it's not a new car. It's not a new car. But, this year on display were the GT Supras, the new A90 Super GT cars, also was the FRS Super GT cars. And people love that. They really appreciate the race cars in Japan. And so that was really cool to see. But yeah, the plywood, man, I won't forget that. I'm sure the carbon one's coming out of the mold or it's in the press.
Yeah.
But for Auto Salon,
plywood.
They plywood, baby. So don't talk shit about people using plywood at the track. Tech Arts uses plywood.
Yeah, what brought the number of Corollas at Tokyo Auto Salon to my attention, I think A86 World posted like these were the 6 that went, and apparently like 6 is a lot for that show. Like you just said, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people have told me to go to the Osaka show instead, or go to Nostalgic 2 Days.
Oh yeah.
Like there are shows dedicated. Like Nostalgic 2 Days is a famous show. They told me also go to the Osaka show, which is about to come up. I think this weekend. That is more favorable towards old cars. But I feel the same, just as they do. The Tokyo Auto Salon is their SEMA. That is the show. And if you can get a car in there, it is so major. So much media. I mean, we're talking about it, and we're in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how major it is. Another classic car that I got to see that I'm really into the Shadokan style. Mizuno Works. Mizuno-san was there. And he had brought his S30, and he brought his 4-door Kenmari in his classic green. I've seen these cars for years online. I've watched all the YouTube videos. He actually is the one who builds and tunes a lot of the cars for Liberty Walk, for Kato-san. He does the engine work and does a lot of the body work. And then Kato puts his own style on it. He was there. And that was another shocker because years before, you couldn't find old Shadokan or Bosuzuku style cars. Only Kato-san will bring one car to the side. You wouldn't see it. So, when you go to Tokyo Auto Salon, you're expecting to see, everything you see online. It's like, no, it's not. It's mainly the new stuff. So I was able to chill with him for over an hour.
Wow, nice.
I immediately told him he's a superstar. He's so famous. Of course, he really loved hearing that. He had a translator with him. I told him why I was there. I told him exactly why I was there because I built a car for SEMA and I want to bring one to Tokyo. And I expressed to him how much I loved his style of work. He is well known for building custom headers, but also he also will do full on builds. And actually his shop is not too far away from Tokyo. I was telling them stories of my build, just like the one I released on YouTube, and they enjoyed the stories. And like I said, even though if you don't speak Japanese, if you know a few words, it just blends over. It bleeds over. The enthusiasm for the cars. If you just give the effort, you will be jamming with them in a few minutes. So because of who I am, or at this time in my life, when I meet someone like him, I know they're coming from a small shop. And I had this conversation with him. And when I make this comment, a small shop is not demeaning or putting down. If you ever have the chance to travel to Japan, a lot of these shops are not like Liberty Walk. And nothing wrong with Liberty Walk. I mean, Liberty Walk, Kato-san, has been holding the flag for Japan for the past few years, and all hats to him. I think it's great. But majority of shops are in the countryside. Japan is not Tokyo. Japan is Tokyo. Once you leave Tokyo, it's rice fields, mushrooms, oranges. It's farm. It is dominantly farmland. And you'll be driving so often, and you'll see a metal, corrugated aluminum little hut, a little house, a little shop, just like the kaisans that you see on the pictures. And you go knock on the door, and this usually will be one man, be building wide-body Porsches, be building wide-body 86s, building wide-body S30s. All these cars that you love and you see, they come from these very small one-man run shops. And that's what the comment I mean. And just like how I do here in the U.S., my builder, Marcus Fry, is very similar. It's a one-man shop. And these guys, thrive on people like me building cars. If we ignore them, these shops will die, which is the sad truth. That's why it's so hard to find anybody to work on the cars in the Bay Area. Japan is the same thing. So I know that his shop is not that large. So after a long conversation with him, I says, he had some wares selling, he was selling some handbags, he's selling stickers and stuff. And I says, you know what? Tell me what you want me to buy. Tell me what I can do to help you. How can I didn't want to use the word help. I used the word support.
Yeah.
I want to support you. I'm down with what you do. I've been watching your cars online all these years. You've given me the joy of talking to me for an hour. You've given me the joy of displaying these cars. I want to give back. I want to give back to you. I just don't want to take a selfie. I just don't want to take pictures with you. So I purchased one of his custom-made wood steering wheels.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, and I bought it for my 86,
nice.
For my GTS.
Wow.
And they thought that was so random. Why did I? Because it's the classic Shadokun style is the mahogany wood steering wheels. It's all varnished and everything, and it's I think I bought a 28 inch. And he also sold leathers, and he told me most of the, if I was gonna put in a Hachiroku, he wanted me to buy the leather, but I wanted a true Shadokun style steering wheel. So I bought the wood one. It's engraved with Mizuno Works. I got edition number 4. And these obviously were not things that he just made. He probably made them 5-10 years ago. And this is leftovers, like a small shop. I can relate to that. I'll make promotional items. Sometimes I don't get rid of them. And we keep carrying them from show to show, from expo. And that's what he was doing. Because I actually wanted 78, my birth year. Oh. But he's like, then I understood what was going on. And so we found number 4. I bought it. It was such a nice gift. I believe it was his wife that was with him and other people that were sharing a booth with him. Their eyes, they thought it was so dope. That is a message I try to tell people, is that, you are... If I was Japanese and if I was there, yeah, it'd be cool. But to have an international fan or a customer fly all the way to Japan, go to Toyko Auto Salon and find their booth, and for you to show appreciation for them, support them, it blows their mind. It really does. They love it. They really do. They love it that you take the time. And they were so happy. I bought this steering wheel. They ended up giving me bags. They gave me stickers. The booth next to them, they had made some homemade snacks. They gave me snacks, and we're all starting hanging out. And the invitation was then offered for me to come visit their shop when I had time. So now I have established this relationship with Mizuno-san, that now I can go visit his shop. I'm going to be rocking his steering wheel in one of my 86s in the States. And that was dope, because I met someone that I admire and a kind of car style I really like. And I could not have done that anywhere else in the world. And yeah, that was just me. That was just something real personal for me that I really enjoyed. And that's only something I can do at Toyko Auto Salon.
Yeah. You brought up something that I really want to mention, actually a problem right now. So with the advent of social, all these small shops in Japan are becoming more well known, which is good for them, right? To a certain extent, it's so you know Jacob.
Yeah, I know him.
So Jacob especially, but some other people who do business over there have told me that Japanese shops are having this problem now where they'll get fans from overseas, like randomly show up to the shop. And because they're Japanese, they have to be polite because that's just the culture. So like they invite them in and like tour, take pictures. And then these people leave and like don't buy anything. And that's a problem, right? Because like first and foremost, this is a repair shop. Like you come here to get your car fixed. That's their business. So
and you know, I'm 41 years old. I would say let me back it up to give a background to why my responses can be this way. I'm 41 years old. I'm a business owner. I didn't start traveling till Japan till I think I was 39, 40 years old. Finally went. I was an RWB owner. Nakai-san made the invitation. Of course, I had purchased an RWB, right? So I obviously have made this investment into RWB, and now I have been graciously offered this invitation. Why don't you come to Japan and meet the family? So that's off the bat, my first invitation going to Japan, right? So in other words, I purchased my entrance fee. And that's cool. That's fine. That's fine. That's the same thing with business organizations, golf clubs. You go into a dinner, you know, you got to pay to play. You want free? Stay home with mom and dad. Now let's back it up. Let's get. So as a business owner, whenever I visit a shop, even stateside, I really don't like to visit without eventually spending some money. You know, I think it's okay if you live here in the U.S. or anybody listening, you know, if you're in your local back of the woods, I think it's fine to go visit a shop once. Hey, you know, hey, how's it doing? What do you guys do? Interview you, right? You know, check it out. No one says that you have to commit to spending money off the dime. You know, hey, what kind of work you guys do? I want to talk to some customers. But if you're going there like every week and just hanging out because your buddy's getting his car worked on and you're never spending any money, I don't think that's correct. I think if it's in your local area and your local hood and you're going there constantly, you should eventually try to spend money at that shop. Yeah, I think that is the correct way and to be respectful. But as a business owner, I get it. You know, I got costs, I got expenses. I know I usually in the way I move in life, I usually try to speak only with the business owners. And usually business owners see my eyes, they can tell I'm a business owner, and we usually click and we'll start talking. Now, when I go to Japan, you're not going to go back, right? You know, you're not going over there to like, hey, you know, could you work on my car?
Yeah.
You know, that is something I dream of doing one day as I get stronger. I hope one day to, you know, call up Mizuno-san and say, hey, you know what? I just bought this S30. I want you to build it for me. I'm going to make this a huge adventure. I'm going to ship the car and I'm going to travel a few times to watch you build it. And then eventually I'm going to drive it. It's going to be this huge life experience. And that's something very possible that I could do in the future. But if you're on this trip and you're just going to go visit, you know, you're not going there to interview him. You're not going there to interview these people. So it's only proper that you do purchase something. And you did say that, you know, mainly it's kids or whatever. I don't want to say any age or whatever, because I've seen adults do it too.
Yeah.
So it's not just the young guys. I've seen adults do it. They'll go to shops and they won't drop a dime. Yeah. No, it's only correct. You know, they all have T-shirts. They all got stickers. Like this gentleman, Mizuno-san, had steering wheels. Like RWB. If you come to RWB, Nakai-san has T-shirts. He has sweaters. He has banners. It's only appropriate to pay respect to them by granting you this experience that you should buy something. Like, come on, it's only appropriate. So I actually wasn't expecting you to answer that question, but like the story I said, Mizuno-san shared with me this hour of time. I had to give back. It wasn't charity. I mess with you. I'm down with you. What can I do for you? And yeah, he was so happy.
I think that's a really good way to go about it. It's not like, what can I buy? Like exactly what you said. It's how can I support you?
And for me, which is more Riko style, and the way I think is that even myself, to be straight up, it was the steering wheel wasn't cheap. It was very similar to the price of here. I think it was like around 500 US. Even myself, I'm like, damn, that's a lot. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, man, it's a lot, because I want to shop more. But this is how my brain thinks. I'm really into this culture, just like you, Ezekiel. I live it, I invest into it, I travel for it. I know if I invest this money now as a friendly gesture, I know in the future, one day, it could expand into something else. If I ever am building a car, or if I'm ever at a, you have to understand how Japanese culture works. You meet one person, you get introduced to two more. You get introduced to those two more people, you meet 6 more. You meet 9 more. You meet 12 more. So me, by meeting, I don't know any of his friends. I just met him. And he's a boss. Mizuno-san is a boss in his area. So I've met him. I made this gesture with him. Respect, love, Happy New Year. I wish you the best. Kanbatte. Have a good Toyko Auto Salon. If we ever have a run-in in the future, or he's going to remember me. That money I spent will bloom. I'm just planting seeds. That is the main focus of me every time I go to Japan. I'm just planting seeds, or I'm watering plants. The first trip, planting seeds. Why do I keep going back? I'm just putting water on the plant. I'm just watering them. Hey man, I'm still here. I'm still down with you. Because there's many people that go to Japan once and they'll never go back.
Yeah.
And they still chat on Instagram or Facebook, but I try to go every year. I put out a Facebook blast. I put on Instagram, hey guys, I'm coming. I'm flying in. And they acknowledge it. Because many RDB owners in Japan are business people as well. People respect time. At our age, people respect that you take the time and money to travel. But yeah, don't do that. Don't visit shops and don't buy anything.
Dude, I say that because, of course, you mentioned Tech Arts, such a well-known shop, like with such a.
I see everybody go there. I've never been there.
And then that's the problem is like, this only came to my attention like recently, but you see how many pictures people take of them going there. Imagine how much time the shop owner has to like give up a day just to tell people,
And that's one thing I don't do when I go to Auto Salon. I don't try to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I just talk to people who I potentially have interest of doing business with in the future, or some connection. It's not cool to waste people's time. No, yeah. Definitely not. Definitely not.
So going back on your point about regularly going back to Japan to both plant seeds and then to water your existing plants. I noticed
Japanese people are more than plants. It's just a metaphor.
Yeah.
It's just a metaphor. It's a business metaphor.
Yeah.
It's a network metaphor.
No, but it's a good metaphor. It's a really good metaphor. So, yeah, one of the pictures on your Facebook that really piqued my interest was you golfing over there.
Yeah.
Do you play golf?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do. And I try to play more for business now, but I'll talk about the golf. Yeah, I have made very good relationships with a a lot of the Japanese are to be members in Japan. To the point now we're like brothers. I even have a sister there now.
Cool.
Yeah, I have nieces and nephews now. Yeah, no. On this trip, they knew I was coming, and I was graciously offered to go play a game of golf with 3 of my brothers, and they actually told me as my wife was walking me out of the house going to the airport, they lined me. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna go play golf," and I'm like, I'm ready to leave. I can't take my clubs, so I ran in the house and grabbed my little beret hat, and I grabbed my glove, and that's all I had time to grab. And yeah, we went and played in Chiba at a private country club. It was definitely a new adventure for me. You can't say Japanese without saying history, culture, technique, routine. I mean, nothing is done lightly in Japan. So the fact that I was going to play golf, I couldn't take it lightly. So I knew where I had to be. I was there at the right time. They picked me up, and then we drove all the way out, about an hour and a half out of Tokyo. And it was a private club. Over there, they got 4-man carts, so 4 people in the cart. With the locker room, beautiful clubhouse, beautiful lounge. Everything is luxury. But as soon as we got in the cart and started playing, I mean, it just has that Riko effect. The reason why we get along so much is that, I'll touch on that real quick, is that I am not Japanese. And they know I'm not. I'm an American, and I am. I don't deny that. And because I'm American, I act like an American. But, I'm not loud and obnoxious. I don't mean it that way. I mean it in a way where, I'll joke more than them. I'll be more outbursts than they do. More laughable, create jokes, help them loosen up. Because it is true, the Japanese do, it's a very rigorous, stressful life during the work week. Not for everybody, but for most. So when I come around, it's kind of like a happy time. We get to joke around and laugh. So, it was very, they showed me how we pick who's, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have this system when you start playing golf. They're kind of like picking straws. And then before you tee off, you salute the ball, pay respects to the game, that, you're wishing that you have a great game, and bow to the ball and all that. So we did all that, but as soon as we got into the golf cart, I started doing selfies, doing videos, we started laughing, we started joking. I had brought cigars along for the trip. And, immediately we just start having a good old boys day on the golf course, even though we're in Japan. And the whole day it was like that, and it was another great bonding experience for us in Japan. And we played the 9 holes, and then we stopped at the clubhouse, which was really cool. You stop at the clubhouse, and they have a bench area. You sit down at the bench, and they have compressed air guns waiting for you, and you clean off your shoes. Like here in the States, when you go into the clubhouse, they'll have that. It's like this brush on the ground that you just shove your feet in. No, not over there. Over there you have compressed air guns, you clean your shoes, they have a stack of wet towels, you wipe your shoes down and dry them off. Then you get to go inside the clubhouse. We went inside the clubhouse, it's a full restaurant pretty much to ourselves. And we were served lunch, we stayed there for about an hour, took some pictures, enjoyed ourselves, and then we went back out and played the back 9. So it was something special. And how did I end it? Well, when we ended the event, I says, guys, we've had such a great time. You guys need to come and play golf with me. Let's go play at Pebble. Let's go play at Las Vegas. So, that's the difference with me, is that they extend a branch, I extend one back. And we have been doing this for the past 3 years. They do something for me, I do something for them. And I noticed that with the Japanese culture is constantly, not like how we are in the States, you know. You eat, and that's the one thing I hate about the car scene here, and that's why I really don't hang out with a lot of car guys, and I don't do lunches, I don't do dinners, because no one ever brings money, you know, or no one can pay. But hanging out with RWB and my friends in Japan, you know, we don't flow like that. You know, they take care of me when I'm in Japan, and when they're stateside, everything's on me. Everything's on me. You know, meals, cars, picking them up, taking care of everything. You know, that hospitality that they have taught me in Japan, like you were talking about, people visiting the shops, the hospitality will explode your brain. It will take you to another world, the level of hospitality that the Japanese give you. And I only try to learn from it, and I try better and better to duplicate how they treat me when they come stateside. Let's talk about the airport meeting people when I came over.
Okay.
The beginning.
So what's it called? The airport stateside.
Yeah, so, you know, when I was at the airport, I flew out of San Jose this time. For some reason this year, I couldn't get a flight out of anywhere else. But finally this time, I saw people going to Auto Salon. You know, usually every time I travel to Japan, I'll never see anybody. But this time I saw a group of S2000 owners, and I happened to know them. And I sat down. We were in the lounge, the business lounge at the San Jose airport. And of course, I said, "You going to Auto Salon? Auto Salon, Auto Salon!" You know, like it's humming in the lounge. And I kind of knew them from friends and friends. And I said, "Hey, you know, what are you guys going to do in Japan? What's your itinerary?" And they told me they were going to do Auto Salon and what else are they going to do. And I offered them an invitation to come to our RWB gathering. I says, "You know, you guys should really come. We have a New Year party. This is the date. Here's the time. I'll be there, so you guys can roll through." And I also invited them to our annual Akihabara car meet, underground car meet that my friend throws. And I gave them all the information, and they were really excited about it. Just like when we were at SEMA.
Yeah.
You know, if I see people that you know, are cool and, you know, not a threat, and then and if I have the opportunity, yeah, I'm more than happy to invite you to partake in our RWB gatherings.
Yeah. Really quick. So I don't think I've ever mentioned it on any of my medias before, but when we went to SEMA, Riko invited all of us to the RWB dinner and the after dinner like celebration too. So for me, it was like do we really belong here? And then also, like how gracious it was of you to invite all of us, because there was 4 people in our group, to invite all of us to, you know, like we don't own RWBs, like all we do is like we just know you, right?
So I invited, and I'm glad you guys came, and you got to meet Nakai-san.
Oh yeah.
But hey, I'll sidestep it. You probably don't realize it now. Before you took a picture with Nakai-san, what did you do?
Buy merch. Yeah.
You bought a shirt.
Yeah. Well, all of us bought shirts, stickers. I bought a shirt and a towel.
See, and that's respect.
Yeah.
And that's respect. And that, you know, it's nothing wrong with having an RWB shirt in your closet.
We wear here at the shop. We wear them all the time. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not a like a timeshare pancake event. Nothing like that. It's just giving respect. It's just paying respect to him that, you know, he's more than happy to meet you and take a picture with you. But if you can help him out by buying his shirt, and that's what's up. And I'm glad you guys were willing to buy shirts, and I was really happy to see that.
We have the towel hanging up in the shop. I'll show you later. We definitely appreciate everything, and we like do not take the experience for granted, you know.
Yeah, and the you know, when I say the RWB way is what Nakai-san's way has passed down onto us and to whoever wants to listen. And of course I want to listen. I try to absorb everything that he teaches me on each trip. And the reason why I invited you guys is that, just like you said, there's always kids visiting these shops. RWB is just the same. There's always kids coming by, and adult people, right? Kids and adults. I mean, what kids are traveling to Japan? I mean, rich kids.
No, you can get like adult age people that's still acting like kids.
Yeah.
So.
But the whole thing is that I've had this conversation with Nakai-san, and this is real talk. This is a personal conversation I've had with him, and I practice it as well. And I've written about it, is that it's a gamble. You know, with business, with life, with making friends, with love, with relationships, it's a gamble. You know, just like if you're dating a girl, you know, I really don't know if this is going to go anywhere. You know, I'm taking you out, paying for this meal. You know, is this going to go anywhere? I don't know. Just like if you're meeting a friend, hey, you know, let's go on a car drive together. You know, I don't know if I'm ever going to rely on you if I ever get a flat tire. You know, but maybe you might answer my phone. You know, you might be there for me. Or in business, you know, you try to take care of a customer, free estimate, maybe a discount on service. You're hoping for a follow-up phone call. So that is a concept that I believe in. But Nakai-san does as well. And we were talking about this. And I had this conversation with him, you know. I know a lot of people come around the shop. I know a lot of people are always around him all the time. And I'm like, you know, don't you ever feel bad about this? Like, you know, like people are, you know, eating for free or this and that. And his whole thing was that I'm gambling every time I'm meeting somebody new. And one of these plays or one of these games is going to come back to me. Or one of these people is going to come back and become an RWB owner. One of them is going to come back and maybe become a good friend or a good supporter of RWB. You know, we don't just only have RWB owners around us. We have solid supporters, we have family, we have RWB owners, and we have our brothers. So he explained to me this, and we both feel the same way. And that's why I wanted you guys to come to the dinner, is that I am essentially gambling on you guys that who knows, maybe one day one of you guys maybe one day become an RWB owner. And we don't know, right? I mean, even at 40, I mean, everybody always says this, right? Oh, you know, when I was 20 years old, or when my dad took me to NASCAR, or my dad took me to Indy, you know, I met a pro racing driver, and that inspired me, and that's why I'm an auto mechanic, or that's why I'm a race car driver. We don't know what instance in our lives is going to inspire us. And maybe this meeting, you come into an RWB party, not that I'm putting it on some mountain, right?
Yeah.
But that's all I have to offer at that very second, right? Is that who knows, that may inspire you. And if anything that we can do in the RWB family to inspire you to work harder, to be better in life, to be a better person, we're down with it. And I'm down with that. And that's what we're all about. I mean, even in Japan this year, you know, I invited those guys to come. And those are Americans, right? And they did come. And they eventually Instagram messaged me, and they saw me at the party, and they were saying how thankful they were, and they had a great time, right? A better trip. Like, you're already there, right? You're already there. Well, I have a Japanese friend, Takashi-san. Takashi-san, he owns an R34 wide body, badass car. And he always shows up to our RWB New Year's parties. And he's so dope. He's always messaging me. He's always inviting me to go on the Wangan to all these adventures. I haven't done it yet. I still super cool dude, super cool guy. And what I didn't know is that he just attends the gatherings, but doesn't really participate in the dinner part of it. Because at the RWB traditionally at the RWB New Year party in Japan, we'll have the barbecue outside in the parking lot, and we'll have this huge car meeting of like 30 cars. And anybody can come besides RWB. And we'll be outside in the parking lot for about 2 hours. You know, my friend Momo-san from Hokkaido brings a couple $1,000, maybe $5,000 worth of crab's legs, clams, oysters, just throws down. And remember, a lot of RWB owners are business owners. Mm-hmm. So we're doing this massive the best cookout party that you've ever had in your life for about 2 hours. And then we'll move inside the Hard Rock Cafe for our private party, for the private RWB New Year party. We'll rent out the whole restaurant. So I guess he never actually would go in the restaurant. Well, this year, things were different. We were having the RWB barbecue at the shop. And we weren't doing the New Year party at the Hard Rock anymore. We were doing the New Year's party at Kashiwa. But this is the point I'm going for. This guy has a badass car. He's Japanese. He's probably been going to the RWB gatherings longer than I've been going, right? And I told him that we were having the barbecue at the shop because I was there. And I told him, hey, come at 3 o'clock. We're going to be barbecuing. So I happened to be upstairs having a meeting with another friend of mine. And I guess he came inside the HQ and he didn't see me. He asked for me and he left. So when I came downstairs from HQ, my friend said, hey, somebody was looking for you. So I go outside and I see him. It's Takashi-san. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Why don't you come inside? And he's like, no, I'm not an RWB member, man. I'm just always around. And I said, no, you got us wrong. That's not how RWB rolls. I see you every time. I know you're hella cool. You're friends with a lot of my other friends. I want you to come inside. So now I am the one bringing him inside RWB. So I brought him inside HQ. I waited for Nakai-san to have a moment. I introduced him personally to Nakai-san. Told him how he has always been coming to our gatherings, always showing support. And I said, brother, now you're in. Now you're rolling with us now. And it just, it's like that. The stories I've been telling is talking about Americans like you or people at the airport. This is in Japan. This is me in Japan doing the same thing, extending this goodwill. And he loved it. He kicked it. I mean, he was like, yeah, now I'm chilling here. He went to the New Year party and he was inside the restaurant hanging out. And I said, from now on, please don't be shy. Don't stay outside. Please come inside. We don't want you standing outside. If you're coming here for RWB, come inside, tell us who you are, and come kick it with us. And that's the RWB style.
All these like really impactful stories, then it leaves me with like nothing to say.
No. Well, I mean, the one thing I would like to expand on is that we'll talk about traveling to Japan, tips, and then the other one is like how to real travel. Let's talk on those two topics. Yeah.
So you had some listener and some fan questions about traveling in general, or specifically traveling to Japan.
So I had some people message me, how do I go to Auto Salon? How do I go to Japan? I even was helping some members who were traveling, even in RWB, telling them where to stay. This is what to do. So first, don't be scared of traveling to Japan. I know it's across the ocean and it's a different language, and don't be intimidated by the travel. It's about 10 hours from San Francisco. That's where we are. Me and Ezekiel are talking. For many other world, the world might be closer or farther. But the thing is that for the first thing, the Japanese people are extremely friendly and they're extremely humble. So that in the beginning should calm you down, calm your nerves. Moving around Japan, use the trains. It's very inexpensive. I was having this conversation with people. If you're just only going to be traveling to Tokyo, Yokohama, Chiba, you don't need a Japanese train pass. You purchase a train card just like you do here at your local metro. And like I was having a conversation with somebody. If I'm in Japan for a week and I'm using trains to move everywhere, I might spend $100. So you use the trains to move around. Hotel prices are very similar to the U.S. prices. You could easily stay in a hotel between $70 to $120. So It's not going to break your bank. You don't have to stay in Tokyo. You can stay anywhere in the outlining. But most of the time, people are going to travel for Toyko Auto Salon, right? So I tell people, and which I learned from the Travelers S2000 guys, is that there's actually a hotel at Toyko Auto Salon.
Oh, wow.
Which I plan to use next year. So you actually can stay at the convention.
At the convention.
You can stay at the convention, which is so dope. So if you're traveling to Toyko Auto Salon, you want to fly into Narita. You don't want to fly into Haneda. Haneda is just too far away. I usually fly into Narita. I'll do Toyko Auto Salon. I'll do all my touring, and I'll fly home through Haneda. But anyways, the main message is that the people are very friendly. Transportation is very easy. There's no need to rent a car. You can use Google Maps to help you walk and take trains. The food is excellent, extremely inexpensive. If you are terrified of walking into a Japanese restaurant and trying to order food and so intimidated, Lawson's and 7-Eleven is the mix, is your jam. It is your jam. Very similar to Philippines and Thailand, 7-Eleven is off the hook. They have warm cooked food, drinks, they're open 24 hours, there's Lawson's. You can live there for $5 for lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, if you've never been to a 7-Eleven overseas, it's not like the ones here. Yeah. Because I've regularly go back to Taiwan, where I'm from, and I know the 7-Eleven, you can have a hot, nutritious meal any time of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and they are sprinkled everywhere. The only new name is Lawson's.
Yeah.
And when I traveled to Japan the first time, Mark Arsenal from Illis, that was the first thing that he taught me. He's like, this is Lawson's, this is 7-Eleven, this is what you order, you point here. It's a very simple system. You just grab what you want and point, and you're done.
They heat the food for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's off the hook. The other tip that I could offer if you travel to Japan for Toyko Auto Salon, it's extremely cold. That's another tip that Mark gave me. So every day I'm wearing thermals top and bottom, and a sweater and a good jacket. And I'll wear a scarf, and sometimes I'll pull out the gloves. A hoodie, a jacket with a hoodie, especially if you're going to be going to nighttime tatsumi gatherings or going to daikoku gatherings at night. It's so cold at night. You will freeze. You will freeze your butt. So you got to dress warm. Don't be afraid to travel. I mean, you can get a ticket economy for maybe $900 to $1,100. Save for it all year and have the trip of a lifetime. Have a memory, travel with friends. But that's travel tips on getting there, right? And moving around. You're not going to die. You're going to survive. It's extremely safe. I mean, you can leave your Louis Vuitton bag on the floor. It's so clean. You could leave your bag at the train station. You could leave your bag at a cafe and come back hours later and your bag will still be there. It is so true. But the main tip that I give people, especially people who have been going many times, I ask them, like the guys that I met, let's keep talking about them. I says, do you guys know anybody in Japan? And their response was, no, we don't. How many times have you gone? Oh man, I've been to Japan like 4 times. That's not going to Japan correctly. You're just being, it's like when I travel to Europe. I go with my wife, I go to Paris, I go to countryside, I have a great time. But I'm with my wife and it's okay. We're having this great experience, whatever. But if it's just you and your boys, just traveling around Japan, going to cool spots. But you're still just a tourist. You're not really getting into Japan. You're not really having a Japanese experience. You're not experiencing stuff that I'm seeing. You're not like me at RWB, running the shop for a day and a half. You're not me parking RWBs. You're not me playing golf. You're not me going to buy meat at the supermarket for the RWB barbecue. You're not me hauling all the RWB clothing to the New Year party, driving my own K car for 2 days. You're not doing that. Well, you may say, Riko, I can't do that. I don't have RWB. No. Don't misunderstand what I'm trying to say. RWB is not all Japan. There's 86 clubs, there's 240SX clubs, there's Mini Cooper clubs, all kinds of clubs, even if you're not into cars. The point I'm getting at is that what I tell people, and I have been offered this invitation, so that's why I know it's true. We have what's now Instagram or Facebook, whatever car chassis you're into, even if you're a Benz guy. These guys happen to be Benz guys. And I asked them, I said, what kind of car do you own? Like Ezekiel, you own 86, right?
Yes.
So I would tell you, Ezekiel, before you go, do you have any friends that you chat with on Facebook or Instagram in Japan?
I do not.
Well, okay. So you're a perfect example. So you want to get some friends. Age doesn't matter. And you want to become, exchange pictures, exchange phone numbers, become friends online first. And then eventually tell them that you are coming to Japan, that you are making the trip. And I guarantee you that they're going to offer you, why don't we go have a beer together? Why don't you come? If you're traveling nearby where I live, come by and hang out with me and my buddies. And what my message is, take up that offer. Take them up on that offer that they're offering you. Accept that branch. And what that will do is that by you going to Japan, like I said, you don't have to spend the whole trip with them. This magic that's happened to me didn't happen on the first trip. On that trip, see if you could spend an evening or a day with these people that you met online. And remember, like the concept I was saying, if you go with respect, be modest, show appreciation for their culture, don't look down on anybody. But if you go and meet this new Japanese friend that you met online, you're going to meet his or her friends. And then we're like, yeah, Ezekiel's cool, man. Ezekiel's cool. He came from San Francisco, a cool guy. Ezekiel listened to Riko and brought some cool omiyage.
Oh, there we go. We need to talk about that.
Yeah, and so that goes together. So, when you go to Japan, you have to take gifts. I want to say have to take. What it is that it's like a housewarming gift. Traditionally, omiyage is a housewarming gift. You could relate it to here, U.S. stateside. For Christmas or Thanksgiving, if someone invites you to your home, you'll take a bottle of wine or some chocolates or cake. Well, in Japan, it is practiced all the time, constantly practiced, and it's especially practice when people are traveling into Japan and also when Japanese come to visit me, like in San Francisco. And omiyage can be, once again, you don't have to give gifts like I give. If you happen to have a sticker from your shop, or if you happen to have a really cool American keychain, if you want to take a box of chocolates, cigarettes that they like, it's the thought. It's not the cost. It's the thought that counts. Real cool keychain, something that says NorCal 86 guys, or even your stickers, or, T-shirts. What it is that you don't want to introduce yourself empty-handed. You want to show that you're aware of the culture, you're thankful for meeting them. So when you meet these new friends that, and they'll say, Ezekiel, yeah, brought all these cool keychains. He brought his CM Autohaus stickers, all this cool 86 stuff from San Francisco. That's stuff that they don't have. And they'll remember that. So when you go back for your second trip, you don't know just one person. You probably know 10 people. And you'll message them and say, hey, I'm coming in for Toyko Auto Salon. You guys want to walk the show with me? You guys want to hang out after the show? Now you got full-fledged Japanese enthusiasts hanging out with you, going around with you, booth to booth, translating for you, helping you. And they're like, hey, you know what? Tonight we're going to go hang out with the guys. We're going to do a run, or we're going to go have some ramen, do a car meet. Now you are experiencing Japan firsthand. You're in the clique. You're in the crew. You're down now. And now you're going to want to come back every year like me. And that's why I've gone over 6 times within 3 years, is that because I know that these gems of experiences are just waiting for me. They're just waiting for me to happen. I just got to show up. And that's got to show up. So that's what I try to tell people, Go to Japan, but before you go, try to make some type of connection. Something. Like I said, they don't have to take you out all day, to meet up to have dinner, to meet up to check out the car, to meet up to go to the garage, anything. Just get your foot in the door. Just get your foot in the door. And like I said, plant that seed and water it. Send them messages. You can even come. This is something that I did, and not many people know about it. You can take those small gifts, right? Let's say someone takes really good care of you. Let's say someone lets you stay in their home. Ezekiel, man, it's so late. The trains actually stop at midnight, by the way, in Japan. You guys are kicking it hard. You guys having some drinks. You're out. You're on the countryside, and they say, Ezekiel, you know what? It's too late. I'm too tired to drive you to the train station, and the trains aren't running anymore. Why don't you stay in my home? Or you know what? I'm gonna take you to this hotel, and my buddy's gonna give you a good price on the room, and we'll pick you up tomorrow to have breakfast. They really took care of you like their family, right? Man, how do I repay this guy? So you come back home. What to do? You get their address and you send them a nice care package. You send them something nicer. Make some shirts or make a gift for them. So what I did on my first stop, this is all Riko style. This is how I move around, and not that people have to duplicate. So on my first trip to Japan, I was just like my people sending me messages, a foreign country, all by myself. I just know Nakai-san and a few other RWB owners. I'm nervous as well, traveling on my own. I usually always travel with my wife, so I was a little bit cautious. There was a select group of people that took really good care of me, that looked out for me, housed me, moved me around, made sure I got home, fed me, everything. So I had to take chocolates. I had taken Godiva chocolates actually that time. I bought them at the airport. Like I said, if you completely black out and forget everything, duty free at the airport has everything that you need. You can take 2 cartons of cigarettes. You can buy all the chocolates you want. You can take alcohol. You can take perfume. It's all there. I had just finished building RWB Yoshiwara. And on Yoshiwara, I have custom turbofans made in Belgium by my friend Steve. DeLange, DLNG Designs, but it's called DeLange. It means the tall guy in Belgium. That's what the slang is, DeLange. And because he's extremely tall, he's taller than me, and that's the whole brand. Anyways, he builds a great ass product. Well, during the year while we were making the fans, he had sent me a sample template of the fan, and it's just a face. It's just a turbofan face, so it's just a flat disc with no fans. And he had sent it to me to have Nakai-san sign it for him, and we actually ended up giving it to my friend's son. Coach-san, Ray. It's a young kid, Ray, that was suffering from cancer, and we actually gave it to him. And thankfully, he has overcome that, and he's living, thriving well, and doing much better. But I remembered that fan of just the face, that it would look so cool if you could hang it on the wall. I thought it would be cool car art. So I hit him up when I got back from Japan, and I said, hey, you remember that sample that you sent me that we gave to Ray that I had Nakai-san sign? He's like, yeah. I said, could you make them with my name on it? And could you make them in gold? And he's like, what's this all about? You already got fans. I said, no. What I want to do is I want to do a gentleman's gift. I want to make a gentleman's gift, show of my appreciation for these people that took care of me when on my first trip to Japan. And he was like, wow, this is such a great idea. No one's ever thought about this. No one's ever called him and asked him to do it. And he's like, the cost is going to be really high because, an average set of fans is, I don't want to throw them under the bus, but I think it's like $2,000. I can't remember what it was. An average set of 4 is around $2,000.
Yeah.
And I just wanted the faces. So, I'm just not including the fins. And I made 20 of them.
Wow.
I made 20 faces. They have my signature on it. They say RWB Yoshiwara Yukaku. and they're made in gold. We finished making them, I think, probably in April of that year. I wanted them to be made before the Idlers race. So we made 20 faces. He did them in the back, on the back burner to keep my costs down. But we made all those faces and I shipped them to Japan, and they were given as a gift to each of those people that took care of me, that did me a solid, that's what it means when someone does you a really solid, they don't have to do this for you. They're going out of their way to take care of you. And I took notice of that on my first trip. And this was a gift that I gave to these people. And they sent me pictures back with them holding them in their shops or putting them on their cars or hanging them on their walls. And that was the first thing that I did. So it's up to you of how you want to respond. But the hospitality that the Japanese people will give you will blow your mind. And I think if you respond in an appropriate manner, you're gonna create new family members in your life, and you're gonna start traveling to Japan much more like I do. Yeah.
I really hope to get up to that point. You briefly talked about it, but we saw pictures of you in coveralls at the RWB.
Oh
HQ.
yeah. It's
Why?
What's up with the coveralls? Why do I know my wife? It's so weird. A lot of the gear that I take to Japan, I only wear when I go to Japan. So obviously I live with my wife, but while I'm packing, I ask my wife, "Hey, where are those gray coveralls?" And of course her eyes are rolling at me like, why do you need coveralls? I'm like, because I got to go to work when I'm there. I got to go work at RWB. And she laughs and, of course, gives them to me, and I fold them up. I started the tradition last year. Like we've been talking about, RWB is no different than these other small shops. Nakai-san is generally at the shop by himself. Sometimes Nojima-san, which is another good friend of mine, Riko Style, huge 86 guy. He is also the owner of the 2 original RWB 86s. His name is Nojima-san. He's the painter for RWB, but he's not there every day. So, when we're having our RWB New Year party, Nakai-san is busy getting all the cars ready, for the party. We got to wash the cars, make sure they all work, put gas in the cars. Or like when we have idlers, he's spending months getting all the cars ready. So in other words, this man needs help. So I don't want to just fly into RWB and just be sitting there just watching him, right?
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, man, this is dope, right? I bought my RWB and I get to kick it here and I'm not going to do anything. No. I don't work like that. That's not Riko Style. So last year, I took my overalls with me. And they're overalls that my friend Mark from Illis made. So they're all cool and got some cool logos on them and everything. So I fly in on Wednesday. And then Thursday morning, Wednesday night, I'll ask him what needs to be done the next day. And this year, what things that had to be done is that Naughty Dread had to be shipped to Toyko Auto Salon. So now Sato-san was going to be bringing his zero landing flatbed to pick up the car. He's going to be picking it up around 11. Also, Nakai-san decided to have a barbecue at the shop. And I also noticed that he had a limited amount of seafood to barbecue. So I knew that I had to go to the store and buy meat for the barbecue. Also, he threw me the keys for one of the K cars, so I had a car to move around. And also, he was going to be sleeping till 3 o'clock. And also, since it's a New Year party, there was going to be guests and people coming. So also my responsibility to, entertain people, let them in or whatever, show them around and this and that. So that's why I bring the coveralls. So that morning, I had to drive into Tokyo to drop a friend, came back to the shop, got the car ready, waited for the tow truck, drove the car on the flatbed, got him all set up. We took pictures. We had a great time. Then I went to the seafood market and bought all the food for the barbecue. But I'm there, turning the lights on. If people want to buy shirts, I'm selling shirts for Nakai-san. So pretty much Nakai-san's my brother. So, whatever he needs me to do, I'm there. I'm there for him. And also, I stay there. I sleep there. And even my wife or my family says, why do I go there? Here stateside, I run a business. So I run a plumbing business here. And, I don't want to say I live a stressful life, but, I have a lot of responsibilities, large responsibilities. And to go there and have the responsibility of, okay, here's the key. Here's the key for the car. Here's the key for the Porsche. Meet this person at 11. If you want to go buy meat, go ahead. There's going to be people coming over at 4. We're going to be setting up the barbecue at 4. And then at 7, you're going to move all the clothing to the party. So in other words, I don't have to answer any phone calls from my customers. I don't have to check any emails. I don't have to send out any emails. I don't have to worry about any employees. I don't have to deal with purchasing. So in other words, it's like an escape for me. Some people would like to go to yoga retreats, but we're car guys, right, Ezekiel? We're car guys. This is my escape. This is my getaway. Get to put on overalls. I'm in Japan. I thoroughly enjoyed just hanging out in front of the shop, having a coffee break, because he has a vending machine in front of the shop that sells the best coffee, hot coffee. And I'm just chilling in there. And the shipping guy is coming to, I'm receiving packages from Blacko Kato, the Black Cat delivery service. I'm waving at people walking by. I'm straight up living in Japan for a day or two. I'm really living this experience. And I'm just chilling in front of my overalls, hanging out. And whoever comes to the shop, I'm the first person they're greeting. And I'm telling them what to do. Keep quiet. Nakai-san's sleeping. If you guys want to kick it in the front, you can kick it. And I love it. And I'm honored that he allows me this freedom with the shop. And it's a beautiful thing. But it's nothing that hasn't come up without, like I said, watering the plant. I always try my best to take care of him and everybody in the RW family. And just like with any relationship, right? It just keeps growing. It keeps growing and growing every year. And I'm so thankful for it. And yeah, that is how I experience Japan for the first few days. I go to work. We'll go work for Nakai-san at RWB.
Nice. We answered the majority of these.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any last thing you want to bring up?
Let me think. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Regarding you saying if before you go, don't go as a tourist, try to make a personal connection there first. Do you mind answering my question about it? Because I realize I do kind of have a personal connection there. So Impulse.
Yes, and they had a car at the show this year.
Yep.
And they always do, actually. They're one of the own shops that always brings a car.
So I bought a transmission kit from Impulse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's in Grant's car outside right now. But yeah, transmission kit, it was really expensive. So what I'm trying to say is I have that connection already. I dropped a large amount of money, waited about a year for that kit for them to make it.
Wow, how long ago was the purchase?
Oh, let's say 2 years ago.
That's not long.
Yeah.
No, I would go with that. go with that. I would send an email or communicate with them on Instagram. Yeah, no, I would run with that.
Yeah.
I would totally.
I mean, I'm a fan of theirs in general. I want to visit, just because I'm a fan. But the next and the first time I go to Japan, I would like to use the same strategy as you said, right? Like I'd rather be in with someone there first, not be a tourist.
I one of the things that I used to tell people, and like I said, I only can speak on my life 100%. I only can speak on what I've done 100%, and the way, the way I do things. This Riko's way of moving around. One of the main reasons I could have always gone to Japan when I was younger. I've traveled around the world a lot, but why did I never go? To be honest, I just never wanted to travel as a fan. I never really did. I could be a fan at home. We had Option Magazine, all these DVDs, all these magazines through our childhood, right? There was no reason for me to go. As I became older, an adult, and got more into the car scene, I really didn't want to go until I had legit car builds under my belt. I wanted to go there and be able to stand toe to toe. I wanted to go to Japan and say, yeah, I build cars too. These are my cars. This is what I have done. I'm not just a fan. I'm not, it's pretty much just saying that, I am, yes, a huge fan of Japanese culture, but, I'm not just showing up to buy a sticker. I'm really into this. I really do this. And I think it's extremely important. I think it's cool. I think it shows more value if you, like you said, you're an 86 owner. Like when we met Nakai-san, what did I say? How did I introduce you as?
Oh, he owns an 86 shop. Yeah.
See?
Mm-hmm.
See, I already set it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that is your business card. Hey guys, I do this for real. I actually have my own shop dedicated to fixing. Really? Oh man, they'd be like, "Oh, so dope! What's the name of your shop? Do you have stickers?" That's the next question. You got stickers?
Yeah. That's usually the next question.
You got any stickers?
Business card and stickers. That's the next question.
Yeah, you got stickers? So for me, I didn't want to go until I actually had cars under my belt.
Yeah.
And I could say, this is how I roll, and this is how I do it. So for you, I would totally say, I bought your part and I got it in my cars and I have a shop and I want to stop by.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's a huge way for you to go and visit. And like I said, when you go, you should stop by RWB and say, yeah, I was at the RWB SEMA party in 2019 with Riko. Do you remember me? Yeah. I mean, it's really important. It is I think in Japan, also with any business connections, it's always important to remind people where you've been, where your footsteps. Like, hey, I saw you at this event. I really didn't have time, but I saw you had this really cool display. I saw you built this really cool car. Even a girl. I saw you at a party. You looked really great that night. I didn't have time to talk to you, but now I do. Oh, really? You saw me? Yeah. No, not really, but I saw a picture on Instagram. But it is. There's nothing wrong with telling people history.
Yeah.
Especially when you tell people their history. When you tell people their history, I've been watching you. I've been monitoring you. I've been monitoring your success. And I just want to congratulate you. And that's what you're going to do, right? You're going to go to Japan. You'll be like, I respect your brand. I want to congratulate you on your success. And I'm just here to pay homage to you. And then and if you go on the off season or if you go to Auto Salon, you can talk to them there at the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they'll introduce you to other people. Yeah, it'll just explode. You got to come.
I will. Okay, next time you go. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I definitely missed out this year, but yeah, for sure next time. Yeah, for sure next time. The next trip.
The one thing why I do mention to people my age, I am 41. I just started going now, and I'm having a great time. If anybody out there is, in their 20s or 30s, you're going to have so much more fun than I'm ever going to have because of just the time. If you could start going now and start building relationships, by the time you're my age, the stories that you'll experience will just be, it's to the infinity. So, I waited to my age because my own personal reasons, right? Like I said, that's just me. But I tell people, if you can go now, go. Start building those relationships, and you never know what could happen. So go.
Okay, I will. I felt like that was a really good place to close too. That was really, that was like a really impactful last words to close it off. So, Riko, I want to thank you so much again for your time, for coming down here. We'll definitely keep doing this.
Sure. No, thank you. It's a big honor of me. One thing I learned at SEMA. I'm sure you're not as old as I am, but I do appreciate a lot of the younger enthusiasts that are now into the social media who have come to me and, given me ideas to help my old ass, get into the social media game. And such as yourself, now we're working together with the podcast. I appreciate it. I appreciate the enthusiasm that the younger generation has towards technology. It is refreshing because at my age, I'm so geared towards life now. I have my business, I have my responsibilities, I'm married, and I have all that on my shoulders. So at my age, I really can't see, all the really cool, neat avenues and shortcuts to take with social media. So I do appreciate you offering me this time.
And then likewise, the podcast listeners don't know, but just to remind you guys, brand new for 2020, CM Autohaus is producing Riko's own podcast titled Riko's Way. So yeah, you guys definitely got to check that out. I worked on just for you guys to know, I worked on a proposal for like a month before I even, mentioned it to you that I'd like to do media work on your behalf. And yeah, it's just been like so great. I'm so thankful that, you've allowed me the opportunity to, do the media work for you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. No, yeah. It's, once again, when you recognize people that are putting an effort, hey, why not gamble, right?
Yeah.
Like I was talking about, why not take a gamble? If someone's trying to do it and looks genuine and looks like they're making an effort, yeah, I'm down for it. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, likewise. I
have plenty of stories.
This podcast is on video too for you guys that want to see the video. But yeah, and then we're getting the kitchen or the customer waiting room like fully equipped, set up to do this podcast thing, full time too. So, yeah. So at the end of as always, at the end of every podcast, do you want to give any shout outs, and then also make sure shout out your social media channels?
Yeah. So if you want to follow me, I go by Riko, my Instagram, Riko's Way, and also on YouTube, you can follow me at Riko's Way. Now I just appreciate everybody that follows me on Instagram and YouTube. I appreciate it. My whole message is that, I'm not out here to flex. I'm just a car enthusiast. I'm very passionate, and I'd love to share. I personally don't have any children. I'm just married. I'm just a 41-year-old married business owner. And so, I'd love to share and give back and share with people of how they could hopefully learn from lessons that I could teach, and if they could help them in life, get where I am at and beyond. I just want to give back and tell people tips on things that I've learned because, I've gone through a lot. I've been in this business life ever since I was in my 20s. And, you know, also the other thing I want to teach people, I want to get rid of that mirage effect that, you know, that I'm just like out here balling with all these SEMA cars and shit. You know, I'm 41 years old. I'm not 20. I'm not 25. I'm not 30. You know, it's taken me all these years of hard work to get to this level. And I want to communicate that. I want to communicate to people that, you know, don't trip that you can't do it at 20. Don't trip that you can't do it at 18. Don't freak out that you're not doing it at 30. You could do something that's relative to your age and to your economic level at that time. And that is cool. That is okay. That is respectful. And those are the things I want to communicate and teach to people, that, you know, don't try to play outside of your realm. You know, play where you're at and do it well, and people will respect you for it. You know, like I said, there's nothing wrong rocking 86 or an old 1991 Miata. You know, if you do it right, do it well, people will respect you. People like me will acknowledge it. And we'll see it. I'll see it. And that's what it's all about. That's Riko Style.
Awesome. Well said. Yeah, man, I just want to thank you so much again. And yeah, we'll definitely have much more of your stories and much more conversations like this. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
All right.